tell me what to say.
Oh yeah.
Hello and welcome to another exciting new episode of Serious Nibbage with sbrebrown and
Gourmet pens.
Gourmet pans, gourmet pans, gourmet pans, gourmet pans.
Okay, today on Serious Nibbage, we are going to be discussing none other than
TWSBI, I dropped it. TWSBI Diamond 5.
of course you dropped it. It's a good thing we're sitting here now.
Yeah.
This is, yes, the 580.
Not the 540, not the 530, but the 580 with the little metal bit.
Yeah, the metal bit. And alright, let's get cracking, shall we?
Let's. This is a pen. What were your first impressions?
Why don't you tell your first impressions, because I rambled
My
on.
first impressions were it's another TWSBI, which means it's a decent looker, has nice facets on it. You get a piston-filled pen for about, I think, $55 or so.
Yeah, right.
And it's a nice looker. It looks nice, and it
Wow, you said nice a lot.
it writes.
It writes, okay.
Do
Well,
you think it was nice?
I enjoy TWSBI packaging. I think it's kind of cool. Comes with the little wrench and the silicone.
That's pretty cool.
The grease. The cat is unhappy with me that I'm touching her. I'm sorry. So, and I think the pen is. I definitely think it's attractive. It's a clean look. There is a lightly gray inner cap, but it's well done. I think they've blended it well. They've ended it at a point that is natural, so it doesn't look ugly. And I think the diamondy faceted thing on design on the barrel highlights the prettiness of the clear pen. So I actually really like the design, and my first impressions of it were quite positive. So, yeah.
What makes it special?
What I would say is that it's the upgraded version of the 540, which was the upgraded version of the 530, and I think the intent was to improve some of the parts of it, because in the previous versions it was cracking. So
I still do.
Well, not the 580.
They still crack.
Okay, some of them crack. Okay.
There have been many reports of cracked 580.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
At least to me, people have told me that theirs is cracked. So.
A 580.
Yep.
Interesting. Anyway, did I miss anything on the what makes it special?
Well, I would say that for this price, getting a piston filler and one that is completely disassemblable is a pretty good deal. Of course, you can also get a newless pen for $14 and $20, but those
Let's not
are
get
not
into that
issues
argument
either.
between the two.
Exactly. So I think that's what makes it special. What about the writing experience?
Well, what did you think?
It draws a vacuum when it's...
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm just having fun with the pen.
The writing experience I thought was very fascinating. Before I have used the 540 with a broad nib, and that was fine when it comes to writing. I don't mean fine nib, but there was no real issues. This one I got with a 1.5mm nib, and that had quite some issues. It's fine when you do short writing bursts, but for longer writing sessions it will run dry to the point where it stops writing and you have to squeeze ink into the feed, and that is not unique to this pen. Other people that I know, experienced fountain pen users...
I have the same pen, same issues.
Exactly, that's
With
just
the
the
1.5
issue.
as well.
The problem is, I'm guessing something like the air replacement is not optimal, the feed is not adequate for such a broad nib. That's it. What about you?
Same thing. I have the 1.5 in the same model, and the same thing. When it's writing, it's very nice, but I mean, it's a nice stub. It gives some nice line variation, but
Yes, I agree with that.
But I mean, it dries out. I mean, the thing stops writing. And
Exactly. It's not like it gets a little bit, the ink gets a little lighter.
Dry,
It
yeah.
just stops
stops.
writing. It just doesn't do anything anymore.
So then you do have to prime it. Again, this is not unique to this pen, and other pens, other manufacturers do make nibs where they can't keep up with the flow, with the ink demand. But so that was my experience with the. But I didn't finish that sentence. But So what I'm trying to say is that this is not the only pen that has this issue. But my 1.5 millimeter experience was okay. But like he said, he's used other names. I've used an extra fine, the fine, a broad, and a 1.1, which do not have this issue of drying out. So while I was unhappy with the experience of this drying out, I knew it was a nib issue or a feed or flow issue. Feeding the ink through the feed nib issue. You know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. Because the other nibs worked. The other nibs worked well. So the writing experience was okay because it just couldn't keep up. That's all. But the pen is very comfortable, and I do enjoy.
Oh, what do you love about it?
Do enjoy
Let's go on.
What do I love? Well, I love that it's clear. I think the faceted barrel is really nice, and it actually makes ink inside look more glittery. It catches the light, I guess. I enjoy the piston filler. I enjoy that you can change the nib, take it apart, maintain it yourself. I think that's really cool, especially for a pen at this price point. What do you enjoy?
Very much the same things you do. I like the concept of a clear pen with a piston filler that really does show off the ink. It does hold a decent amount of ink, which for 1.5 millimeter nib you would definitely need. But even with an extra fine, it's just nice to have so much ink on hand. I do like the fact that it is a piston filler at this price as opposed to a cartridge converter filled pen. I do like the fact that you have all those nib options, and I really like the fact that you can disassemble it completely, do home maintenance on it, put some extra grease in, clean it very easily. I think all of those have very cool features. What do you not like about it?
What I don't like is, the fact that the 1.5 millimeter nib anyway, it dries out, and that's, of course, that's a bit annoying. The other thing, my 580 has not cracked. However, three 540s, a mini, and the classic all needed new parts. So 5 out of 6 pens needed repair. And I find that makes me a little uncomfortable about this pen. But again, so far this one hasn't cracked. However, I said that about both my 540s, like mine, right about a week before they both magically had cracks just from sitting in the pen case. So, what do I not like? Well, I don't like the fact that I'm not confident in the pen stability. Especially if I were to give this as a gift to someone, I'd be worried that the gift I gave them is going to crack.
Yes, I agree with that. It's, as far as I know, it's still the same plastic, so you can put more metal parts on it to give it more stability, but it's still the same plastic, and the plastic will crack. It just cracks. It's that simple. And it's great that you put out a $50-$55 pen with a piston filler, but if you have to replace half of the parts every X months because they crack, then that kind of defeats the purpose of having an inexpensive pen. You do get the parts. TWSBI does have customer service. They do help you out. They do hook you up. But even so, do you really want to wait for pen parts? Quite often, if you use these pens really intensively, I would be surprised if you don't see any cracking. Especially
if you're the kind of person that is rough on them. I don't mean dropping them, but I just mean even having them in a case and throwing them in a bag or something. I think if they take a bit of a beating, they're just not the toughest pens, I think.
Then again, I love the section. I love the size of the pen. It has a lot going for it, and the price is definitely nice. But would you buy it?
Okay, so the calligraphy size nibs, italic nibs, the 1.1, 1.5, I think they're like $5 more expensive than the regular ones. They're around $55. I would no longer buy one. I enjoy having the ones I have, but with my experience of all of them cracking, except for this one so far, knock on wood, I would be very hesitant to buy it. If I were given one as a gift, I'd be very excited about it because, it removes that apprehension. But I would be hesitant to buy one. And I would love to hear from more people out there whose pens have not cracked, just so that it's more reassurance to me that, hey, the newer models are okay, if that makes any sense.
I would not buy one again either. And so far, my experience with TWSBI, especially after the Classic, I don't know. It's an interesting brand. It's an interesting brand to check out. It's definitely interesting. If you don't want to spend too much on a pen.
Well, they do offer cool stuff. I mean, you get pistons,
Yes,
you
they
get
do.
vacuum fillers.
That is definitely very fascinating. But what I would really want to see them do is start using a more robust plastic. As I know that's easy for me to say, but all the cracking is no joke, and it can be very frustrating and annoying to see a pen that you enjoy develop cracks. And again, I have not been that rough on my 540, but the piston turning knob had all kinds of cracks in it. The section had cracks in it. So
Well, my barrel basically shattered. It was just so weird.
So that's pretty serious.
Yeah.
Now, having said all this, let's pocket the pen. Is it or is it not? Serious?
Well, I'm going to give a really confusing answer. I still think it is. Because you do get a lot from these pens. I mean, not just this model. They do offer you customer service. They don't charge you for your replacement parts. Yeah, it's really annoying that you have to replace them, but you know, if you can't afford anything more, it's possible that another piston filler is out of your budget. So they do offer interesting things at a reasonable price point, which does make more types of pens accessible to more people. And again, it's annoying that they can crack, but if you can get it replaced, then that's great. So
That is true.
and they have been developing these with fountain pen users. So if I quote that correctly, they do listen to feedback. So voice your feedback if you have opinions.
A more reliable plastic.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Anyway, I think they make beautiful pens,
They
which
do
is
look very beautiful.
which is still why I wouldn't necessarily buy one because of my fear of them cracking. Because I get attached to things, so if it cracked, I'd be really upset again. But I still think they're serious Nibbage.
Alright.
Yeah.
Well, this was serious Nibbage.
Well, and this is this was a tough one, I would
Yeah,
say.
it is.
And I'm sure a lot of you are going to agree or disagree out
I
there.
know that this is going to spark controversy because TWSBI has a huge fan base and people go completely ballistic over TWSBI pens, so
So if you're going to comment, make it nice, maybe.
you don't have to make it nice, but make it constructive.
Well, you could be nice if you're making constructive criticism, or making a criticism. Anyway, there's nothing to criticize. These are just our opinions.
Of course.
You could agree or disagree.
Yeah,
Anyway.
feel free.
Yeah. You know, but just don't be a jerk about it.
If you like the video, hit the like button. If you dislike the video, ask yourself why you watched it all the way up to this point.
What do you think of your TWSBIs? What do you have? Have yours cracked? Have yours survived?
Did they crack?
She thinks you're asking her if she wants treats.
No, I didn't.
I'm really curious because I've interacted with some people who said, well, all my TWSBIs are cracked, and other people love their pens. So I find it fascinating to find out what other people think about their pens. Anyway, I'm a weirdo.
We hope this was useful.
Yeah, and we'll see you later.
Probably.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Do 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 do.
Tick, 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 tick. That's the name of the cat.
Actually, her name is Ellie, but she looks like a dick. So if you Google dick, you'll see the little weird antelope type thing, and that's what she looks like. Seriously.
Or you will see pictures of things you may not expect.
D-I-K, just for the record.
I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, not the other spelling. Anyway, we're gonna shut up because this is probably pretty long. Look at this. So inconvenient. Does not care about anything.
Do you care about anything? Gar. Well, glad to see you again.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Oh, she didn't like that.
I didn't like that either.